So protected areas are covered mostly under the UN Convention on Biological Diversity. Article 8 of the Convention stipulates the obligation of states to create in situ protection for biodiversity. So the objective of the CBD, the Convention on Biological Diversity, is conservation, sustainable use, and equitable sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. And to achieve those objectives, protected areas are a very important tool. They're also, you can also look into the Law of the Sea Convention, it's Article 194, paragraph 5, to find obligations of states to protect certain marine habitats, and marine protected areas again are a very good tool to achieve that. The definition of marine protected areas or protected areas are found mainly in IUCN instruments or guidelines, but also it's reflected in COP decisions of Conference of the Parties of the Convention on Biological Diversity, especially the Marine Protected Area one. In the Article 2 of the Convention also refers to what a protected area is, and it needs to be legally defined, a specific space with specific governance, usually covers a number of threats, so it's usually a multi-sectoral tool to address problems and threats to the environment, and now it's been a very good moment to discuss the meaning of protected areas as well as other effective area-based conservation measures, because it's part of Aichi Biodiversity Target 11 of the Convention on Biological Diversity, which was adopted in 2010, and governments are just, parties to the convention are just adopting further guidance on how to interpret some of the terms contained in Aichi Biodiversity Target 11, which are the tools to protect areas important for biodiversity, marine and terrestrial, and areas important for providing ecosystem services as well. So in that sense, protected areas, including marine protected areas, as well as other effective area-based conservation measures, are part of those tools to achieve that. In areas beyond national jurisdiction, such as the high seas or the area beyond national jurisdiction, it's more complicated because you need agreement, the consent of a number of states to create a particular area to be protected. So under the, there's a new treaty being negotiated at the UN at the moment under the Law of the Sea Convention to address conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction, and marine protected areas is an important element of this new treaty that will be negotiated, and the format that it will take, the establishment process, the institutions that will be involved in that, in the adoption of that particular area is still to be decided. Currently, regional seas conventions such as OSPAR in the Northeast Atlantic or CAMALAR in the Southern Ocean in the Antarctic have been declaring marine protected areas on the high seas. But we don't have those type of organizations everywhere in the ocean. So it's required that for a global response, for a global ecologically representative network of marine protected areas, you would need most certainly a global treaty to address that, to implement that general obligation under the Law of the Sea Convention, Article 194. And that fits very well as well within the context of an ecosystem approach. Ecosystem approach is an approach that takes into consideration the natural boundaries of the environment, includes humans as part of the ecosystems as well, because if we're not considering the socioeconomic aspects, you can't really deliver conservation and sustainable use, and can be a tool to implement, to achieve sustainable development. So the Convention on Biological Diversity has deliberated that, for example, marine spatial planning can be a tool to achieve ecosystem approach in the marine environment. So with that set of tools, we can achieve eventually conservation sustainable use of the oceans.